Welcome to Wise Ass Advice with Kendal
and Stephanie.
Thank you for joining us on our spiritual quest, where we seek to find out more about healing work, psychics, spirits, and anything that helps us to be more open to the spiritual and metaphysical world. Welcome to the quest. Today we have psychic investigator Joe Powers with us. Joe, will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm from the UK. I'm a psychic investigator. When I say a psychic investigator, I don't do that all the time. I do specific cases. I look of trying to get an insight into what happens. I don't claim to solve the cases. I look for certain clues within the cases, if that makes any sense to you. So, for instance, if someone's gone missing, I'll give you an example. Someone gave me a phone call a couple of weeks ago, and basically they've gone missing in the river. And all I could see was concrete and new concrete. And I said that the person is by the concrete. And that's where they found the body in Ireland, where she'd gone. Basically, she ended up by where the new concrete steps was.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. And then other cases where I've done murder cases. Just recently, 2 years ago, again in Ireland, I was doing a private reading for someone, and sometimes you don't know the information, what it means. But all I could see was a caravan and someone's toes. But apparently, her son was murdered, and then when they buried him, is that his toes were sticking up out to the ground, and he was right by the caravan. And that's how a dog walker found the person. So they're the little clues and insights that you may get to try and help them solve the case.
That's awesome. And is doing psychic investigation what you love to do? Is that what you had a calling for?
Yeah, that's me. That's the nitty gritty. That intrigues me more. Obviously, all round, I love doing the healing. The healing is one of the most fascinating things I really, really enjoy. And, that's one thing that I love doing. But the interesting work is the missing people. I do a hell of a lot of missing people, and also as well, I do a lot of suicides that come to me. So people from the other side, is murder cases, suicides. That is probably my strongest.
That's awesome. I'm glad you're able to help people. That's such a wonderful gift. I was able to read your book that you had published, The Man Who Sees Dead People. And I was really, I really love that you shared how you kind of had a rough start in life and you were really real. And can you tell us a little bit about why you actually wrote this book?
Well, to be honest with you, I just felt I needed to write something or get all my experiences down, because the visions and everything that I'd had since I was a child and everything, I just feel I needed to get it out of my system. Because to be honest with you, I never liked being a psychic or a medium, because it's so hard work. It's so demanding to come up with detailed information. People think being a psychic or a medium is, it's great, you can watch John Edwards and have a TV show, but it's a lot more than that. You've got people that are heartbroken, and you've got to come up with names, information, times, everything.
So you mentioned Aunt Emily and Uncle Tom, and they were kind of an influence in your early years as far as developing your gift. Do you think that they really affected who you became?
Yeah, without any doubt. My Uncle Tom, well, my mum's great Uncle Tom it is. He was a bit of a showman, and he used to come to me, often visit me while I was a child and different things. But the real spooky one was great Aunt Emily. She was known in Liverpool for predicting the winning horses. Now, my brother had died in unusual circumstances, and I was sleeping in my mum's house, but I'd lived in Ormskirk at the time, and I was staying in my mother's house. And during my sleep, she'd actually visited me in my sleep, and she was standing at my front door. And she had the most protruding eyes that would scare anyone. And it's as if she looked through your soul and basically more or less told me to grow up and this is what you should be doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it was freaky. It was scary. She scared me.
She did scare you.
Yeah, she scared me.
So you also mentioned you had a child murder victim come to you, Keith Bennett. And in your book, I kind of felt like that was your turning point for you, as far as like working as a psychic investigator. Like, how did he affect you then, if Aunt Emily scared you?
Well, he didn't really scare me. It was good that person had come to me and told me that he'd never be found. And then that was a real, like, sort of, this is your pathway. This is what you should be doing. So there was all strong visions, of people starting to come to me. During, going back 20 years ago, these people started coming to me, and then it got stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And then basically with Keith, he basically said to me that he would never be found. I mean, hopefully, let's hope I'm wrong that he is found one day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another big case local to us in Southport, where the person had gone missing, and it was in all the papers, it was everywhere. And she'd actually come to me in a dream, and she told me that she'd been carned into the mangled. Now, them words are real. You don't really use them words, carned into the mangles. And she told me that she was in two locations, that she was by the fairgrounds and the railway. And I really didn't understand what was happening with me, because there was a lot going on with me. And then the information I was getting, I went into the police station and I said to them, that this young lady's gone missing. And I had a bit of paper on me, and I was shaking like a leaf. And I give them, I said, she's part of it in the fairgrounds and by the railway station. And they must have thought I was a complete lunatic whack job, or I was the person that had done it. Anyway, eventually, going back about 2 years down the line, is that the boyfriend eventually admitted to killing his girlfriend, cutting her up in the bath. And then she was found in the two locations where I said, by the railway and by the fairground. So that was very, very powerful information.
Yes, it is. I bet it's great to have that kind of validation. I know it's a horrible thing, but your ability to do that is like wonderful for people who are searching for people. So
yeah, sometimes you can't do it all the time. I mean, you might look at one case and people say, well, why can't you just, if you can get in touch with the spirit world, why can't they just tell you exactly where the location is? Because it doesn't work like that sometimes, because people work in different ways. There's clairvoyance, there's clairsensing. And I hear most of my information, but it's through the subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like their voice, but it'll come through in my voice, which is, I'm lucky really, because it comes out a lot more clearer.
Yeah, I bet. I could imagine like trying to, interpret, visual cues to find locations would be a lot harder. So that's pretty amazing. How do you see yourself evolving going forward? Do you have any big plans coming up?
Yeah, I've always wanted. Well, I need to do me second book. I've got The Man Who Sees Dead People. So I'm ready to start, doing my second book. It was Jill Wellington from America. She was a writer in America that done my first book. Jill was great, by the way. And now I'm ready to do my second book. But I also want to do a set of not tarot cards, but a modern day set of cards that can relate to people in the 20th century. Yeah.
I love that.
There's not an out there, when I'm doing private readings, there's not an out there that, basically if you get a set of tarot cards, they're not really like connecting. There's not an like updated version of like what is for now.
I agree.
I think that's what the industry needs. It needs something, that we can relate to now, and it gives you clear answers.
Oh, for sure. Like a detailed tarot book, and even the cards, like the Rider-Waite one, which is what I traditionally have used, and that's what my grandma introduced me to when I was a young child. And so having something that I think the younger generation relate a lot more to would be amazing. So
Yeah, I think as well. I think what most of the because I do a lot of troubled teenagers, you see, and some of the best readings you can get is I'd love to do a TV program with troubled teenagers, psychic troubled teenagers, because I can actually link into the auric field and actually pick up and diagnose what the problem is. Yeah, and then
That is awesome.
Yeah. Once you actually it's like a diagnostic. Once you actually can find out and understand, because the mother and father will not be aware of what's going on within their mind. And it's pretty freaky, really, because when you say it, they're actually shocked. And then the parents start to understand that this is the problem. So you could pick up anything that they're keeping to themselves. Sometimes you find out that they're pregnant. Sometimes you'll find out that they're doing drugs. Sometimes you'll find out that they're hanging about with gangs, or they've got a block where they just don't like school. So you're looking at how to fix that.
that's awesome. I wish I had that.
I know. I feel like I need that too when I was a teenager.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Well, it is really, because when you go to school, they're not really giving you the direction, are they? They should be sectioning people off and putting them into categories and saying, do you want to be a welder? What is the best suited for each individual person? How do we move each person forward?
Oh, for sure.
I 100% agree with that.
I've worked in higher education, and let me tell you, we do not do a good job preparing kids for what they really want to do in life. It's kind of a sad affair. So.
Yeah, and also most of the time as well, when you do readings, most people are in the wrong jobs, because if the aura is the magnetic field, which is the aura is you, yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, if your personality and everything doesn't suit the job, that's what happens. Your aura has to connect to that type of work that you're doing to enjoy it.
Oh, yeah. We're all about that, too.
We are. Yeah. I left my marketing role of 10 years because it just was not speaking to me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so basically what you've done, you've outgrown you've outgrown your old job, and you need something new. And this is where people get bored and don't know what to do, because it's like updating a computer. If you don't update yourself, you will not move on. You'll stay in the same area.
That's a really good analogy.
So you're here to talk to us today about the Madeleine McCann case, and we are super excited about hearing about this.
Yeah, it's a massive case, and it's so sad, really, that the police and all these private investigators and no one's got to the bottom of it. I mean, to be honest with you, it may never get solved, because obviously there's a lot going on. So do you want me to give you what do you want me to give you an insight in what I think what's happened to her?
Yeah, that would be great. I have been following this since this happened to her. So if you want to just tell us an overview of what you think happened to her, and then I have several questions for you that are burning that I would like to ask you as well.
Well, do you want to give me the questions first?
Sure, and then maybe that'll flow into. Yeah, absolutely. So what I really wonder is, how did the person or persons know that the parents weren't home at the time?
Well, this is where I think is key now. Right, the person who kidnapped Madeleine, or persons, yeah, they knew exactly when she was getting minded in the childcare. That's when she was getting stalked. That was the key time that the person was watching her, when she was getting minded and the mother and father were going out. So when she was in the hands of being looked after by the hotel and going out, basically, is it a play area they have, like a creche, is it, where they go for like a couple of hours?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. That is the main bit. This is where her person that took her was looking at her all the time.
Wow.
Yeah. So the person or persons that were involved knew everything about the hotel. They knew every step that the Madeleines they were doing. Okay, and they had a huge connection with the pool area, so they could see that the McCanns and the Tappers 9. So when they were out, they could see clearly where the McCanns was all the time, and the Tappers 9.
That is so chilling to think that you're being watched.
Yeah, they were clearly being watched. There's no doubt about it. You know what I'm saying? There's no doubt about it. I mean, I tuned into these frequencies, and when certain information comes back, you'll always find, if it comes through clear and it's not vague, yeah, because I wasn't expecting about we're being minded, and when they were dropping it off the parents innocently, that she was being stalked and ready to be kidnapped.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And also as well, I think the most interesting bit is that I've actually been to Portugal, and I've met the inspector out there, and I had a disagreement with him, on the abduction and different things and his take on it. And I disagreed with him. But he was a nice guy. I just think that for 18 months, he had it in his mind that it was certain people. And they wasted the police a lot of time and a lot of energy on focusing on the wrong people.
So do you think that she was maybe taken by sex traffickers?
I've got to be careful, but to be honest with you, I don't. It doesn't look great, to be honest with you. You get what I'm saying? It's more or less. I do feel that who's ever taken her haven't taken her for the right reasons.
Okay. Wow. And then I was reading about Jane Tanner, one of the couples that was at the restaurant with them. She had said she saw a man leave with a child. Was she clear on that, or was she just fabricating it to maybe get in the media?
No, she did see, but she only had a vague look. And it wasn't the child, it wasn't Madeleine, what she's seeing.
Okay. But she just assumed it was Madeleine.
She must have, yeah. Well, I don't fully know the story of what, basically when I do these cases, I'm not reading the information, I'm looking for what I'm picking up, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you had mentioned, I'm sorry, I may not pronounce this correctly, but do you know why she was taken to the house in, is it Praia da Luz?
Yeah, that's it. It's Praia da Luz.
Okay.
I mean, to be honest with you, when you go out there, all the houses look the same. They're all like farmhouses. They're all like sort of derelict houses. They're everywhere. I mean, it's a small place. As soon as you drive out, you've got like all farmlands with all the same types of houses. Yeah, and a lot of them are abandoned. Do you get what I'm saying? Okay. So, you might have like say 500 houses that are all empty and abandoned. So everything looks exactly the same. But getting back to why she was taken, that is where they took her. Basically, the person or persons had taken her, obviously, to do whatever, they were not meant to do, or, they'd taken her to that location.
And then I had also read that she might have a new family and was taken to be purchased by this really rich family. Are you getting anything about that?
Well, to be honest with you, if that was the case and she was found alive, great, and I'd rather be wrong. But in my opinion, I believe that Madeleine McCann is in Portugal. I don't feel that she's ever left Portugal. I only feel that she's probably within 4 kilometers of where she is. So I don't buy into that.
Okay, that's interesting because there's so many theories out there. And that was one that I thought, well, I could hope that was the case because then she'd be maybe well off right now.
Yeah.
And then you had mentioned that you had talked to the inspector and he was focusing on the wrong people. Do you think that's maybe because he had taken so long, the case may be unsolvable at this moment? He wasted so much time.
Yeah, I think what it is, I think because he's pointed and pinpointed the certain people, he's had to stick to the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, once you put someone or say something, he wasn't willing to change or alter. He just wanted to fit it around. Basically, I also feel as well is that the Portuguese police know who kidnapped Madeleine McCann.
Really?
Oh yeah, without any doubt.
Why would they? Is it because they've started that narrative that they picked out these people so they don't want to say they're wrong?
Or are they covering up?
Yeah, I can't. Obviously, this is my opinion. I can't blame anyone, but I do feel.
Yeah, all opinions.
Yeah, it's all opinions, but I do feel is that they know who abducted Madeleine McCann. Yeah, wow. I believe strongly that the police know the person or persons.
Wow, that's fascinating. And do you believe any of this was a PR stunt by her family, police maybe? Because that's been floated around too in articles and shows I've watched.
No, not really. I think, I think the way Jerry and Kate have come across hasn't been really great to the ordinary people. But what you've got to remember, there's a little child that is missing here. Innocent. She was only 4 at the time.
Right.
Or because obviously they don't seem to come across friendly or like sort of relate to the normal people. They don't like psychics. They don't like mediums. They're not open to look at information. It's got to be all like sort of police or the professional way.
I see. This is just coming up for me now, and again, only opinions if you want to answer this, but why her and not her twin sisters as well?
Well, I just felt is that the person had basically taken a shine to Madeleine. They weren't interested in the twins.
Do you think they saw them on holiday and that's when they thought we want to do this, the person or person?
It was well planned. This wasn't just a one-off snatch where someone's walking past and they've seen the McCanns go into the thing. This is being well planned. This is an inside job, more or less. Yeah. So you've got someone very, very close that is connected to the Ocean Club in Praia de Luz that has got contacts, either works inside there or got strong connections to the place itself. So he could have been a former worker that knew the whole place. It wasn't just a random. It wasn't random. It was, yeah.
Wow. That's giving me the chills. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, just on that note, could it have been planned knowing that they were going to be coming there?
I don't know on that because it'd be unfair for me to say that because
okay, sure.
I haven't really sort of tuned into that.
Sure. Just thought came to me.
Yeah, it's a good thought, but you when you do this, you have to go into sort of. You might look at a question when you're going into an investigation, and not may come back on a certain question, but something else will come back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd have to really look into that sort of question. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I just thought I'd throw that out there since I was thinking of that. Do you think that Madeleine remembers her family?
Well, I'm not convinced that she's with us.
Okay.
I mean, I'd love to be wrong. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I don't feel that the outcome is going to be great.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be great if it was.
I have to say, I feel worried about that too, which is very sad.
I mean, to be honest with you, if it was me, Obviously, I got a strong insight, and because it's a lot more clearer now, you've got a lot more experience than what you do when, like, say, 10 or 11 years ago. You know, obviously, even when I've done the book, I've got a lot more clearer now. So when I was picking up caravans and gypsies and different things, but when I actually went right into it, it told me, I believe that the guy who abducted Madeleine McCann only lives 7 kilometers away in the caravan park, and he's still there now.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Do you know what I'm saying? So if I was looking for a certain place, and also as well, what I could see clearly, what he had is, you know, the old trailers that you put on the back of a car?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it'd be easy to go into that caravan park, which is only 7 kilometers away, and do a couple of investigation into that area.
Wow.
And where Madeleine was in the Ocean Club is that where that caravan park, all the people from there, which you get a lot of paedophiles going into them places as well. Mm-hmm. They used to come down into where Madeleine was staying, into the local chemist on certain days for the prescription and the drugs.
Wow.
So therefore, you had a lot of people that was, you know, unemployed. You had a lot of people that was from the UK. You possibly had paedophiles all within that caravan area that should have been massively investigated.
Oh, for sure. Do you think this person has potentially done other stuff that they might get caught for, or do you get any kind of feeling about that?
Again, I haven't really gone into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? I mean, you'd have to really so you couldn't give a random answer to that unless you actually went into the more of the detail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do feel though is that basically someone is going to be arrested eventually.
Good. Absolutely good.
Yeah, but I don't know whether they'll ever find Madeleine.
That's really unfortunate. I mean, her case breaks my heart and has captured, I want to say, the world. It's awful.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's disgusting as well, because even if she was, planned for another family or whatever, at the end of the day, this is someone's baby, someone's child, and a lot of people think it's the parents, think it's this, and everyone's got an opinion, but at the end of the day, she hasn't been found. She should be with her parents. She only went on holiday. Yeah. The bit that I don't agree with, because I've actually been to the place itself, the apartment, and you are completely out of view of leaving them children. You would never leave your children there. Yeah. It's totally... Where it is basically you have to walk right the way around the corner, right the way down the bottom from where they were eaten, and it's too far, too distant to leave them babies to them children. Sorry, go on.
Oh no, I was just saying I totally agree with you. As I would never consider leaving my children anywhere like that.
And as a young child, I feel like I was always within my parents' sight. So I was a little bit shocked that they would leave them like that.
Especially in a foreign country that they're, not
they weren't from.
Yeah, but it's not just that. It's the distance. It's the hedges, the trees, everywhere you can't see. You're basically where she is. She was like on a main road. So the main road is here. And then at the back of them, you have to walk right the way down, and it's a long way from where they were to keep checking on the children.
So it would have been so easy for someone to just come in and take her and push her away into the night.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it absolutely so easily. And also as well, if you can imagine someone that knew the hotel, they could see the McCanns, they could see the Tappers 9. Had plenty of opportunity. And I also believe as well she was taking a 9:25.
Wow. That's really,
So it would contradict everything that is being said.
Right. And another question I had was, there's been I don't know, thousands, I would say, of sightings of her. Do you think anyone actually saw her at one point?
No, I don't, because if that was the case, you know, I just don't think they've had a sighting of it at all. I just think it may be. I mean, I could be wrong, but I just don't think it is. I think they would have found her by now. And also, if someone had her, like say 3 or 4 people, I'm sure with it being so highlighted that one of them would have gone out to the police and, you know, blew the whole system up if she was with another family.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, what you're saying totally makes sense. I could totally see the scenario that, you know, you've kind of laid out as what it really was. So
I as well. This is giving me a lot of insight. As I said, I've been following it since it was reported she was missing.
Was there any?
Sorry, go on.
Oh, was there anything else that you picked up that?
Well, when we went to Praia de Luz and we found this house, and because I got a strong image of Madeleine she was giving me a vision of like a takeaway where you have fish and chips.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And she was playing. I actually got a sketch drawn of an ex-policeman when we were doing like a bit of a TV program out there at the time. And we tried to get the McCanns to come over. And then we found all these old clothes. Have you been on my Facebook?
No, we haven't been on your Facebook. But
well, if you go on the Facebook, you'll see an old house, and it's got man's clothes and shoes. Yeah. And this was right. This was right by the church, within yards, hidden away, and then there's a pink baby's blanket there. Now, all them clothes should have been investigated. They should have been taken for DNA. Everything should have been looked at. The policeman that I told would not even go to the house and look at the information.
That makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. And if you look at the clothes, it's so spooky. You've got a pair of man's shoes, like a size 9. The shoes, it doesn't mean to say it's him, but you would want to rule that out. That there's no DNA, there's no hairs, there's no fibre, there's no blood, there's nothing there. It should have been all investigated. Them clothes are probably still there to this day.
Wow. I'm so appalled.
I know, it's very shocking. Like that.
And you're only talking 500 yards away from where she disappeared, where the house is, and the clothes.
And this is all my opinion, speculation, but I do not see why they would not have found her if they had just done their due diligence of at least looking within a certain perimeter of where this happened.
Yeah, I think that's the main bit. I think really is that they've searched a few places, and I think really where they've messed up is they've had the focus on the McCanns and then come out with this bizarre story about a burglary and different things. And anyone with common sense, it doesn't add up.
Oh, I totally agree.
When they started going down the burglar lines, in my opinion, I just thought it was completely load of rubbish.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me at all. But they definitely did focus on the parents a lot.
Yeah. And don't forget the parents. You would focus on the parents because they're sure. To be honest with you, they would be the main focus, and also the 9 of them all together. Do you know what I'm saying? They would be the main focus of the first people you go to is police will go to the family because maybe they're normally the first suspects.
Yeah, because they're the ones that know her the best. And
yeah.
I know victim crimes, a lot of times it's people that know the person who committed it.
Right, and also those, the other couples they were with as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Like I say, it's a mystery, but I don't think it's really, I think it's a massive mystery. But I think really is that if Jerry and Kate took a back step, I do feel as well, is that they actually come into contact. So Jerry and Kate actually come into contact with Madeleine's abductor without them even realizing. They didn't speak to them.
Wow, really?
Yeah, this is outside. You know where the crash is, where when they dropped them off, Kate and Jerry when they drop the daughter off and go off, is that he's been there at that specific time.
So do you feel like it's maybe like a hotel employee then?
Well, it's basically with someone with inside knowledge. Either they've been sacked or they've had some connection to that place.
Wow,
strong connection. Because if they know every inch of it and they can walk around, and I'm specifically seeing the person responsible by the pool, and he's able to get in and walk around by the pool and watch what's happening. This is Madeleine's abductor.
That would make sense because he would have all the keys and accessibility to get into places normally.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, that's why I said it hasn't just been a random. They have known exactly where the McCanns was at certain times, and it's well being planned.
Wow.
It's so fascinating.
It's fascinating, but it's sad, but it's real, and obviously, it's one of them mysteries that will continue. But I do definitely feel with 100% that them police know who Madeleine's abductor is.
Man, that's appalling. I hope they, somebody gets in there and figures it out.
I would love the parents to just be able to have a resolution on what happened. Because the speculation is it's been a decade, right, at least. And I can't imagine living with this day in and day out, not knowing what happened to my daughter.
Yeah, I also think as well, you'd try every single possibility, wouldn't you?
Right.
I mean, I mean, even when people went to the airport and asked if they want to meet with me, it was a no.
That's bizarre. I mean, I
was there. I was in Portugal the same time as them. I mean, basically, if you would try anything, I mean, obviously we get ripped for what we do because it's not normal, is it? It's not a normal job. It's not a normal sort of science or whatever. And we can be wrong. That's why, I like to go when I teach people. I do a lot of teaching in this as well, in the mediumship and different things. When I teach people, I teach them now to make sure that they're going into different angles of the questions and different information. Do you know what I'm saying? Not just sort of, are you picking a house up? What with the house? What is about the house? What's in there? There's so much that you can go into detail these days now.
Yeah. It's absolutely fascinating what you do and, the gifts that you have, and I know that, a lot of people, or I think why Stephanie and I do this podcast is because we're trying to demystify, things in the spiritual world. And I just see, where we're from in the Seattle area, people are really embracing this. And I hope people who, need help or need to solve certain problems in their life really look to, contacting a reputable psychic or, medium, because it can provide you with wonderful insights.
Yeah, I'm hoping at the moment we've got a TV thing. I don't know if it's going to be passed, but there's a possibility I might be coming over to America, and it's called Psychic American Missing Angels.
Oh, what's that about?
It's basically people that have gone missing, and it'll be it's a TV format at the moment. It's basically be me going into investigate cold cases.
Wow, I love watching and listening to cold cases. It's fascinating. And I want to tell you, you've given me the most insight into Madeleine's case than I've read or watched. I feel like you were very just, this is this. And you go into these shows and it's speculation here, speculation there, interviewing everyone who has all different opinions. And I can't make heads or tails of what I think really happened.
Yeah, I mean, when you asked a little bit earlier on, had this person done it before? Obviously, it was well in the press beforehand that there was someone knocking and collecting money, and he said he was an orphanage. I still feel that is the same person that is connected to the hotel, that is connected to the caravan. Yeah. I do feel is that he was praying to take a child.
And she just happened to be one that
caught his eye.
Yeah, that caught his eye.
Yeah.
But it does make absolute sense. Again, back to the fact that he would have access that normal people wouldn't to be able to do such a thing. So that completely makes sense. Because I have never been able to figure out how some just normal person got away with this. That makes sense. Absolutely.
It'd be great as well if he could get to that caravan site, that caravan park, and really invest, because that has come up massively strong. I personally believe that person lives in that park.
Do you think the investigators are just done with this case and have put it to the cold case file?
Yeah, I personally do. I think there's too much money. There's too many stories, too many newspapers, and basically. But then again, let's see what the British police come up with, because he said that they had a lead, didn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
So if you've got a lead, maybe that what I predicted that they already know who it is. I don't know whether the UK police know or just the Portuguese police.
Wow.
So, I hope it gets solved, and I hope
it'd be great if it gets solved.
Yes. One, he should not be out there after doing what he's done. So.
Yeah. Don't forget, we're presuming it's a he. There could be a she involved. Do you know what I'm saying? So
yes.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's just the one person involved.
Yeah, there could be multiple.
That ran through my head, just a woman potentially to soften the taking, if that makes sense. A woman's, Madeleine, hi, we're just going here. That did cross my mind.
Yeah, and I actually, when I first started, I did pick up one up being involved somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, kind of on a side note, like what you think of like the afterworld and why people linger here and don't pass on or have trouble passing on?
Okay, there's a lot about people not like sort of passing on. Obviously, some people don't accept that they passed over or don't accept that they died. Yeah. So in other words, their energy may stay here. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So basically, but also you can get like sort of what you call that someone can see a ghost, but it's not. It's like the mirror of a reflection. They have moved on, but they can show themselves still.
Gotcha. So it's like more of like an energy, like just kind of like I don't know,
like a reflection, reflection in the mirror, which is staying there, and it can show itself at a certain time. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's active.
Got it. It's like an imprint.
It's like, of course, that's exactly what it is. It's an imprint. But then some of them don't move on because obviously they don't wish to move on, or they don't know how to get to the next level.
And again, this is a rhetorical question on Kendy's question and to you in general. I always wonder, and I'll use Madeleine as an example, if she has passed, why can't she give a sign? Or if somebody has been kidnapped or murdered, why can't they do an imprint or something like that? That's always been a thought in my
Is this mind. Is this with Madeleine's energy?
Yeah, Madeleine.
Yeah, okay. I think what it is, I think people are so, unless the parents said, right, we want you to try and connect to Madeleine's spirit, you would get slated and slaughtered, because if you're a psychic or medium, you're not classed as a normal person in society. But if the parents come out and said, right, shall we try and connect to the family and give the go-ahead, then we could do that.
Okay, I see.
Well, how do you know the information that I'm receiving isn't from Madeleine or isn't from her family?
Mm-hmm.
Right. That makes sense.
Is it harder to talk or to get information from younger spirits than, like somebody who's, older?
Yeah, a lot of the information will come from family members or guides that have the knowledge and can project the images over to you.
Oh yeah, I could see that, because that would probably be something that requires skill, I would guess. In
And
the
if you're
afterlife.
little, you might not know how to maybe communicate.
Exactly,
yourself.
and a child as well. Yeah, I mean, everyone that goes to the spirit world, you're naturally going home. So when you go to the spirit world, you can't speak like us. You can have a normal conversation, but it's all done in thought.
Mm-hmm.
So we communicate through thought. So when you're thinking of someone that, say, someone's at home, yeah, that's how you communicate to someone on the other side. Because you haven't got the physical voice or the voice box to talk.
Fascinating, and that totally makes sense to me. Like,
yeah. So if you were thinking of going to the bathroom, yeah, you would communicate on the other side. That's how you talk. It's like a silent language. You're learning a silent language.
Mm-hmm. Is that the same kind of feeling, like when you're driving in a car and you have that feeling like somebody's like looking at you? You know, you get that kind of like tingle, and it like you look over it.
Yeah, it just. I mean, sometimes it might not. It might be just like normal, but most people, you know, you'll be thinking of something, and then all of a sudden you'll be thinking of that thought because someone close has just come next to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've heard that as.
Or you might be thinking of the police, and then all of a sudden you get done for speeding in the car.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never going to think of them then.
I mean, I'm just giving you examples.
No, I get your example. Yeah,
that's totally it. Like, you're like, police pop in my head, and then you're like, oh, there is a police car that's coming up behind me. Great.
Yeah. Or you might be thinking of a certain person that you haven't seen for years, and all of a sudden you get a phone call from them.
Yep, I've definitely
or you
had
bump
that
into
one.
them.
Yeah, I've had that as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, Joe, did you have anything else that you want to talk to us about?
No, I was. There's a massive case in America what's the little girl went missing. A huge case that's never been solved.
Yeah, John Bonet.
John Bonet. I'd love to do that for you and see, maybe do another podcast with you, and then tune into exactly if I can get to the bottom of that case, or maybe communicate with the people on the other side, and then see if it was an inside job or was it someone from outside, and basically who done it.
We would love that, because it captivated America and probably the world. This little beauty queen murdered, and just terrible. I think she was 6, 7, or 8, something like that.
Yeah, I think I like doing cases like that. I mean, I can't promise that I might try and do the case, and then I might not be able to do the case. Some cases come through stronger than others.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So you might want to do a case, but all of a sudden you sit down, and then if the information is vague or it's not flowing the information, then you don't do that case.
Yeah. I could totally see
that's
that.
Completely fair, but we would love for you to try and channel John Bonet's case.
Yeah, well, I'll start on it. I'm off to Ireland for a couple of weeks. So
yeah, we saw that you're doing tours out there.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I'm always in Ireland. I love Ireland. It's one of the best places in the world. Are
you planning on doing any tours here in America?
Well, if you invite me over, I can.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, we'll have to arrange something.
Yes.
Yeah, it'd be great.
We'll work on something.
Yeah, it'd be great to do a show, a really a good mediumship show out there. That'd be fantastic out there.
Yes.
I work very fast, you see, when I do my mediumship. It's really fast, and then you need to be on the ball really quick, because the spirit world work about 10 times faster than us, like a satellite dish.
Ooh.
Yeah, wow. So it's pretty interesting stuff that comes out.
I have a quick question that just reminded me when you said satellite. I have had a session and the radio has shut off. Have you ever heard of somebody that has passed that's trying to communicate with you and have the radio shut off?
Yeah, this happens quite often to me. I used to do a hell of a lot of shows, audiences, and my microphone would always go down because spirit connect through with an energy, and that's what we are on the other side. And when you get so many spirit people trying to come through, all my microphones used to go off in the big audiences.
Wow.
And it used to go off quite frequently because don't forget, communication with an energy, and that's what they use. They use TV, they use that type of stuff to get through to you.
Yeah, it just recently happened to me, and I didn't think anything of it. However, the woman that was giving me the session said that has never happened to me before, my radio shutting off. I personally just thought the song was over.
No, that's I mean, there could be a number of reasons why, but then it could be because you've been visited by spirits and they've done it because this is what happens to me. So what's happened to you, it happens to me quite often.
Mm-hmm.
So they are around you, ladies. Are you scared?
Am I scared? I'm not scared at all.
Yeah. No, not at all.
I'm waiting to see something. No,
yeah,
I'm not scared at all.
To be honest with you, it's fascinating. If you do it right and you communicate right, and even if you're investigating, you want real stuff. You want real nitty-gritty stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's fascinating when you can get something and, you no one else knows that information. I mean, when I do some private reading, sometimes I will know that someone, as soon as I go in, I can, basically, if they've had an affair or they've seen the next door neighbour, it will come out in the reading.
Oh.
So don't hide that.
Yeah.
If they've been shoplifting and I'm doing a show, I will tell them because that's the spirit person just told me.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I always like to mix my shows because I'm a great believer that people, when they were here, they had a sense of humour. There's sad cases, so I'm sensitive. But also as well, you do get naughty spirits that come in as well. Normal people, they're not all dressed up as angels when they go to the other side. They're the same character, the same personality, or some of them will grow up and realise that, they shouldn't have committed suicide, or they shouldn't have done this murder, or this shouldn't have happened. And then you've got your nice people that just generally want to come through.
Mm-hmm.
But the strongest people that come through, what I like, is naughty people.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you get better information off them.
I feel like I will be naughty when I pass away.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Oh, thank you. Great.
Yeah.
No, I can't. My grandma, she's in her late 80s, and she's actually from Bristol, England, and my whole mother's side's from over there, so I love hearing your voice. It reminds me of them. And she's like, when I die, I'm going to come and haunt you, so you know. And
that's great, isn't it? That's great. Okay, I mean, it just shows you the personality, the character that she's got.
Uh-huh.
That tells you a lot about a person's personality because they can be normal, real with it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I know I'll be naughty, so I'll let everyone know.
And I think I'll always be naughty. It's just a part of my personality. I always try to be good. I mean, I remember once we were in this teaching class, and some of the psychic stuff, I'll be honest with you, right? When I went teaching, I always used to get told off because a lot of the things I did not agree with. And I always remember going to like a spiritual class, and this was in Southport, a local area, and there was a really good teacher. And I always remember a woman coming to me. I was on the way home, and I could see her. She was absolutely stunning looking. And she was from the spirit world, and I could see her crystal clear. And she said, "They are not your teachers, we are."
Yes, you.
And I never forget it. I never forget it. It was going back years and years ago. And that's what he said. They are not your teachers. We are your teachers. So I was being guided from obviously someone, on the other side for what I was meant to be doing.
Yes, and they probably are the best teachers. That's amazing. you've had this gift, given to you, and that you've accepted it too.
Yeah, so it's been great anyway. So I will do this case for you, and then maybe we'll catch up in next month or the month after, whenever you're ready.
That'd be great.
I've been following that one again since it happened, so I have many questions I'll love to ask you.
But anyway, you've been absolutely fabulous. So interesting to speak to both of you.
Thank you, Joe. You have been fascinating.
You have, absolutely.
Oh, thank you so much.
Can you let everybody know where they can follow you online?
Yeah, the best place to follow me is on Facebook. I'm always on Facebook. If you go on the Joe Power UK Facebook, I'm on Instagram. You can get me on Instagram on Joe Power. So they're the main places that you can follow me.
That's awesome. And we'll put all of your links online. So all of you listeners, just go ahead and look at the episode details, and you will find all of his links so you can follow him.
And this will be live on Monday, February 3rd.
Yep.
Okay, I'm really looking forward to it, and I wish you the really successful in what you're doing. You're doing a great job, and I'll speak to you again soon.
All right. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, take care. God bless. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.